Time is the most critical resource you possess. It holds more value than money, more significance than any physical item. Yet countless people carelessly let it slip through their fingers. Every tick of the clock is a piece of your life you'll never reclaim. Those who rise to the top recognize this undeniable fact, and they treat their time with the highest level of respect. They don't let distractions hijack their focus, and they don't pour their hours into empty, purposeless pursuits. They know time is like currency, and it's far too precious to lose. If you want to build something extraordinary, you must train your mind to value each minute. Start treating time as your most powerful resource, something to protect and to spend with intention. High achievers excel because they've mastered the ability to prioritize. They understand that not all tasks are equally valuable, and that time shouldn't be wasted on efforts that don't produce progress. Building greatness requires discipline, and that discipline begins with managing your hours with precision. Don't fall into the pit of procrastination or get seduced by ease. While many are lounging, scrolling, and chasing short-term thrills, the determined ones are planning, executing, and moving forward. It's about understanding that your goals are worth every ounce of effort, and that this effort must be relentless and unshakable. You must become obsessed with mastering your time, because that's what separates those who rise from those who remain average. Visualize what you could achieve if every moment of your day were purposefully aligned with your ambitions. Picture the skills you'd acquire, the projects you'd complete, the transformation you'd undergo. It's not about grinding every second without rest. It's about ensuring that every second counts. Stop letting time slip through your fingers. Sacrifice to things that offer nothing in return. Social media rabbit holes, mindless scrolling, empty conversations. Cut them off. Establish a schedule that mirrors your drive, and stick to it like your future depends on it, because it does. Guard your mornings with discipline. Maximize your afternoons with efficiency, and use your evenings to prepare for tomorrow's battle. Empires aren't built by accident. They're constructed through precise and powerful use of time. Think of your time as a seed. Every hour you invest in learning, in business, in health, will bloom into something powerful. There's a difference between just spending time and investing it. Spending is random, careless. Investing is focused, intentional. Make it your practice to examine where your time goes. Spot the leaks, the tasks that add no value, the distractions that dilute your purpose. Replace them with deliberate actions that bring you closer to your mission. Let productivity become a way of life, not a short-lived burst. Time mastery isn't just about technique. It's a shift in your beliefs. It's the understanding that your dreams are worth the sacrifice of comfort and trivial distractions. When you begin to value your time, you automatically raise your expectations. You no longer tolerate nonsense because it doesn't align with your purpose. You surround yourself with people who uplift your journey, not those who drain your drive. You walk away from toxic situations that sap your strength. Your inner circle sharpens. Your conversations deepen. Your days become intentional. This is how you generate momentum, by continuously refining how you use your minutes. Success demands urgency, and urgency is born from understanding that time is limited. You don't have forever to figure it out. The clock doesn't stop, and the world won't wait for you to catch up. You must cultivate urgency within. Wake up with intention. Craft a strategy, and execute without hesitation. Winners don't wait, they act. They don't beg for permission or wait for the ideal time. They seize control of their schedule because they know that consistent action produces extraordinary outcomes. Be fierce in your pursuit. Be structured in your execution. And never waver in your mission to make every second meaningful. Action fuels success. In a world where most freeze in overthinking, the few who take bold steps climb to the top. Victory isn't reserved for those with flawless plans. It belongs to those who move. Perfection is a myth. The people who win understand that forward motion beats perfection. They know mistakes will come, but they treat them as part of the road, not roadblocks. They begin with what they've got, where they are, and they let momentum carry them through persistence. Every massive achievement started with one small move, and those brave enough to make that move are the ones who eventually conquer. Waiting for the right moment is a trap. You can waste months or years planning something perfect while someone else is out there doing it. The world doesn't reward thoughts. It rewards execution. What sets you apart is your willingness to act even when the future is uncertain. Launch that business, even if it's messy. Begin that project, even if you lack all the answers. Move forward, adjust as needed, and grow through the process. Success doesn't come to those who avoid falling. It comes to those who rise after each fall, smarter, stronger, and more determined. It's not about the tools in your hands. It's about how resourceful you are with what you already have. Too many people waste time complaining. Not enough money, not the right connections, not enough skill. But the truth is, many of the most successful individuals started with less than what you have right now. They didn't wait for luck. They built their networks. They sharpened their abilities. They created solutions where others saw problems. Action is the great leveler. No matter where you begin, if you keep acting, keep moving, you will eventually break through. Inaction is the silent killer of dreams. Every day you hesitate is another lost opportunity. They sit back, waiting for a spark of motivation to ignite their fire. But motivation is unpredictable and fleeting. It's discipline and deliberate action that deliver true progress. Cultivate the discipline to act, especially when you least feel like it. The successful don't rely on bursts of inspiration. They generate their own momentum through consistent effort. They don't sit idle, fantasizing about a better life. They construct it deliberately, one action at a time. They've accepted that setbacks aren't reasons to quit. They're signals to return with sharper insight and better strategy. How to conquer procrastination. Your daily decisions mold your future. The earlier you begin, the quicker you'll advance. Every second wasted overthinking is an opportunity lost. Analysis, when excessive, paralyzes. And while you hesitate, chances are vanishing. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" challenge yourself with, "What if I succeed?" Trade uncertainty for determination. Replace hesitation with purposeful action. Take the initial step, no matter how insignificant it seems, and watch your self-belief multiply with each move forward. Achievement isn't about knowing everything. It's about having the hunger to seek answers. Those who build greatness are those who don't allow fear to make decisions for them. They understand the quickest way to grow is through doing, and real growth stems from direct experience. The road to success isn't linear, but only those who move forward can navigate it. It's better to stumble and learn than remain paralyzed and stagnant. The world is full of dreamers, but only a small number transform dreams into reality because they dare to take action. They aren't slowed by criticism or held back by doubt. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They know it never arrives. They leap, they stumble, they rise. That's the formula for greatness. Not hoping, but doing. Success starts the moment you stop making excuses. In an age of distractions and infinite justifications to delay, those who rise above are the ones who reject excuses entirely. They understand that every excuse is a self-made wall, standing between them and their purpose. Instead of blaming circumstances, people, or lack of tools, they assume complete ownership of their path. They recognize life isn't always fair, but greatness doesn't belong to those who complain. It belongs to those who fight through. Every time you let yourself off the hook with an excuse, you're handing over your personal power. Real power is reclaimed when you decide to lead your life, regardless of how difficult the road may be. Excuses offer false comfort. They let you sidestep pain by avoiding your limitations, but in doing so, they keep you weak. If you convince yourself that your background, your circumstances, or your lack of support are the reasons you can't succeed, you're enclosing yourself within a prison of your own design. History is overflowing with examples of people who rose from nothing, not because they were lucky, but because they refused to allow excuses to define them. They didn't fold under pressure. They turned adversity into strength, using hardship as fuel instead of a reason to give up. They became resourceful because they had no other option. Each time you make an excuse, you reinforce a mindset that says, "I am powerless." But that's a lie. The strongest weapon you possess is your mindset. The instant you reject all excuses as unacceptable, you awaken a deeper level of power inside you. Instead of saying, "I don't have time," you ask, "Where can I make time?" Instead of saying, "I don't know how," you shift to, "How can I learn?" This internal change alters everything. It turns problems into possibilities. Obstacles become launch pads. You step into control where you're meant to be. High performers don't allow excuse into their mindsets because they understand that only action moves the needle. Excuses offer comfort, but never progress. Rather than wasting energy explaining why something can't be done, they devote that same energy to uncovering how it can. If they lack knowledge, they study. If they lack tools, they improvise. If they're rejected, they return stronger. They focus entirely on what's within their control, not on what isn't. This obsessive solution focus is their edge. They're not looking for sympathy or external approval. They're chasing outcomes. Excuses are the language of mediocrity. They're the lies people repeat to feel better about not becoming who they were meant to be. But those who rise don't tell themselves comforting lies. They face the truth head on. They know their flaws, but they refuse to be owned by them. They don't look for escape routes or blame others for their situation. They claim their lives fully. This sense of ownership is liberating. It means their fate is theirs to shape. They aren't victims of luck or background. They're builders of destiny. The elite thinkers and doers adopt a mindset where excuses are completely unwelcome. They've trained themselves to create paths when none exist. They've accepted that life is full of setbacks, but also that no setback is stronger than relentless will. When failure knocks, they don't sulk. They study, they learn, and they launch again. When obstacles rise, they don't retreat. They let it fuel their push. This no-excuse mentality is the bedrock of all true greatness. Those who adopt it cannot be stopped. Excellence isn't earned by merely competing. It's seized by dominating. The builders of legacies don't waste energy trying to fit in or edge out the average. They transcend it. While others are busy comparing and competing, true leaders create. They hold themselves to standards no one else can define. They don't look sideways to measure their worth. They look inward and upward, focused only on their own mission. This mindset isn't arrogant. It's clarity. It's laser-focused purpose. They know exactly what they're chasing, and they don't let the noise of the world shake them. Those who dominate don't crave praise. They burn with an inner mission. They don't define themselves by other people's opinions because they're too committed to blazing their own trail. That's why they lead industries. That's why they spark movements. That's why they become legends. They're bold enough to break the mold, to take calculated risks, to redefine what's possible. Where others follow the crowd, they set the pace. Where others freeze, they act. They understand. Real power belongs to those who write the rules, not those who wait to be told what's allowed. This is how visions become empires. This is how leaders are forged. To rise above, you must demand more from yourself. Mediocrity can never be your standard. Those who accept average will always walk in the shadow of those who refuse to settle. Those who aim for greatness do not settle for average. They strive to be exceptional. True excellence isn't a one-time act. It's a discipline, a daily decision to pursue the highest version of yourself in all areas of life. It involves mastering your abilities, sharpening your strengths, and consistently pushing your personal boundaries. It's about preferring discipline over ease, concentration over distractions, and progress over staying the same. Real dominance isn't something you declare, it's something you attain through tireless effort and a fierce dedication to excellence. It's about establishing a presence so powerful that it cannot be ignored. Those who rise to the top understand that real dominance isn't about overpowering others. It's about rising above through self-mastery. It's about offering so much value that your contribution becomes essential in any environment. They focus on inventing, solving real problems, and creating impact. They understand that the path to victory doesn't lie in crushing the competition, but in becoming so adept, so well-informed, and so competent that they naturally stand out. That's why they don't fear rivals. They are too committed to surpassing their own prior standards and too devoted to becoming unstoppable. They aren't just players in the field, they redefine the game. To truly dominate, one must think abundantly, not with a mindset of lack. High performers don't envy others' success, they celebrate it. Instead of pulling others down, they extract lessons from their success. Where some feel envy, they feel motivation. That's why they keep evolving. They build alliances instead of adversaries. They keep rising, even when others fall. Their only real competition is who they were the day before. Each new day is a fresh chance to improve, to expand, and to accomplish more. This deep hunger for betterment is what keeps them ahead of the curve. The journey toward dominance isn't smooth, but it is rewarding. It demands bravery, endurance, and a will that refuses to break. Those who lead are not the ones who had a smooth ride. They are the ones who faced obstacles and pushed forward regardless. They are the ones who turned pain into power, defeats into determination, and every hardship into drive. They understand that true dominance isn't a final point, it's a lifestyle. It's a relentless refusal to settle, a never-ending pursuit of more, and a full commitment to becoming someone of undeniable value. Empires aren't born from blending in. They're built by standing out. Choosing to invest in yourself is the most powerful decision you will ever make. While many chase fleeting satisfaction, those destined to build legacies focus on gaining knowledge, honing skills, and collecting experience that sets them apart. Your greatest resource is your mind, and every book you read, every class you take, every wise mentor you absorb wisdom from, adds lifelong value. Those who understand this truth never stop learning. They view education not as a temporary task, but as a continuous pursuit. They realize the world is constantly shifting, and the only way to remain ahead is to constantly evolve, constantly improve, and keep refining their strengths. The highest achievers are obsessed with growth. They don't just want to learn, they want to master. They don't skim the surface. They dig deep until they become experts in their domain. Whether it's through books, online programs, workshops, or real-life practice, they seize every chance to expand their capabilities. They know that while others waste hours in distraction, they are stacking knowledge that will eventually open massive opportunities. This unstoppable thirst for improvement is what elevates them from good to elite. But self-investment isn't only about knowledge. It's also about your health, your mindset, and the relationships you cultivate. Top performers treat their bodies as high-performance engines. They prioritize healthy living because they understand that mental sharpness cannot thrive in physical weakness. They eat clean, exercise regularly, and get quality rest, knowing that energy fuels ambition. They protect their mental state by surrounding themselves with positive, driven individuals who push them to grow. They eliminate toxic relationships, understanding that the people around them reflect the direction of their lives. Investing in yourself also involves using failure as a teacher. Those who achieve success don't shy away from risk, because even in defeat, there is value. They review their mistakes, extract the lessons, and bounce back stronger than ever. They don't let failure define them, they let it refine them. They build resilience because they understand that the path to greatness is rarely a smooth one. They're willing to leave their comfort zone, to take on the hard challenges others avoid, and to push themselves beyond familiar limits. This bravery to endure discomfort transforms them into unstoppable forces. Your network is also a vital part of personal investment. Successful individuals recognize that who you know can be just as crucial as what you know. They form connections with mentors, peers, and leaders who uplift, guide, and inspire them. They understand that proximity to greatness accelerates your growth. But they don't enter these connections to take, they aim to contribute. They live with integrity, generosity, and excellence, which attracts other high-caliber people. That's how they form circles of influence that strengthen and elevate their journey. Time is life's most valuable currency. How you spend it reveals your true priorities. Empire builders manage their time with intention. They understand that every hour invested in themselves compounds and multiplies. They don't waste their days on shallow distractions. They commit their time to actions that move them closer to their purpose. They have a crystal clear vision of the person they want to become, and every decision, every hour, is aligned with that vision. That's why they accomplish what others only fantasize about. They do not depend on luck. They depend on preparation, consistency, and continuous self-evolution. The unyielding drive toward mastery. Discipline forms the bedrock of every lasting achievement. While most people are led by their feelings, cravings, and distractions, those who construct greatness are ruled by the unwavering power of consistent action. They grasp a crucial truth. Motivation is temporary. It fades, it fluctuates like the weather. But discipline? Discipline is dependable. It's the internal force that keeps them aligned with their path, even when desire disappears. It's rising with the sun when every part of you wants to stay in bed. It's maintaining laser focus on your mission while others drift aimlessly. It's doing the work regardless of emotions, regardless of comfort. Discipline acts as the link between your ambitions and their fulfillment. It is the engine that turns intentions into accomplishments. People who rise to greatness never depend on feeling inspired. They rely on structure, on deliberate systems that shape their behavior daily. Whether it's the ritual that begins their morning, their productive workflow, or their constant dedication to growth, they have learned that repetition is the hidden advantage of the high achievers. They don't waste energy wondering whether or not to show up. They show up. They don't bargain with their weaker impulses because they know every surrender chips away at their momentum. And momentum? That's everything. One disciplined choice leads to another, stacking over time into an unstoppable rhythm. Discipline is sacrifice, but not meaningless sacrifice. It's purposeful. It's about turning down short-term pleasure to build long-term greatness. It's saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your true calling. While others are numbing their minds with distractions, the disciplined few are building their futures. They're reading, studying, training, and planning. They're not afraid of being different or misunderstood because they understand that solitude often walks hand in hand with greatness. That solitude is not punishment. It's the sacred time you spend developing, mastering, and becoming the kind of person who simply cannot be overlooked. To become truly disciplined, you must take command of your inner world. Those who rule their minds can steer their behavior, and those who command their actions, they shape their fate. Champions don't lack temptation or moments of weakness, but they've conditioned themselves to rise above them. When the voice inside suggests quitting, they press forward. When lethargy creeps in, they remember their purpose. They recognize the immense power of thought, but only when thought is guided by clear intention. They don't let negativity grow roots. They refuse to let fear call the shots. Instead, they make bold choices in the face of fear. They act, even when it's uncomfortable. They move forward, even when it would be easier to stop. They choose boldness over ease, action over excuses,